So call me back. Okay, I love you. Bye.
What's up, you guys, and welcome back to Emotionally Online, the show for spilling guts and sharing secrets, hosted by yours truly, the one and only Maddie Drosbeck. And today, I am joined by a very special guest, someone that I have had a friend crush on for literally forever. And it is Miss Catherine, katherout on YouTube.
I'm here. We're in the stew. I'm nestled in the couch and I'm never leaving.
I'm literally so excited that you're here. We just met for the first time mere hours ago.
Yeah, in person.
In person,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, but the internet friend crush has existed for ever, really.
Yeah, because how did you find me? Through Tiffany?
I feel like you just appeared on my recommended. And I just...
Well, YouTube doing
the algorithm
doing
brought me to
for
you.
once. Like, the algorithm doing one good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, have been so excited to meet you. So excited that you're here and we can chat because I just admire you so deeply. I think that you have like a heart of gold. I've literally talked about you to all my friends because I'm like, I love your energy. I love the energy you bring to like friendship and community. And you're a planner, and I can see a planner when a planner knows a planner, and I see you and I'm like, see, this is the energy that I love to see in other people.
Well, the feeling is mutual, my dear.
Thank you.
I recognize your gifts as well. The dinner parties, I'm like, because I am like a planner of trips. Mm-hmm. I'm really good at like mixing friends on a vacation, on a trip. I call them close friends conferences because I just post on my close friend story. But Maddie does so many dinner parties, and that has been on my ambitions because I've literally never had a party in my place. Because my last apartment, it was like just a couch, not even another seat. And it's like when you have just a couch, 2-person max.
Right.
You know, one-on-one time's great, but I'm like, I want to have like a gathering. Yeah. Now that I've been in Seattle for a couple of years, it's like I know enough people. And so I finally had a housewarming, and I was so fucking nervous. And I thought back to your video about doing your like, I don't know if it was your first. But like you were like
it was
your dinner party. Yeah. And I was like, that video should have done crazy numbers because people need to be
It was one of my favorite videos I've ever made too.
I agree.
And it didn't
like,
do well.
I know. And I'm like, that devastates me because I'm like, those are the videos that like, that's true influencing. Like we were talking about like, you know, get people out on the town with their friends. Like that is what I want to, that's the change I want to affect in the world. And like, it was so nerve wracking. And I was like, sitting there, and the party started at 4, and I was sitting there on my little bench with like, you know, the fire on my TV and like my cookies out and everything, and there was nobody there, and I was just like, wonder if this is all for nothing. But it was a smash success, and now I'm like warmed up, and I'm like, need to take your dinner party routine out for a spin. Yeah,
it's so nice to just like sit around a table with people. I love a small group gathering. That's really my favorite.
What's your ideal like number?
Between 4 and 6.
Okay.
I would say.
Because what happens if it's 8?
Too many people yelling on top of each other. And also, I always prefer an even number because my favorite game to play at a dinner party is catchphrase, and you need even amount of people to play that.
So you're a gamer.
For sure a gamer,
You're
girl.
a gamer. Well, I knew you were a gamer. I knew you were a gamer, but like, you know, I actually feel like being a gamer is sort of like a universal trait where it's like, I feel like if you like Toontown, then you're gonna like board games, then you're gonna like playing in the pool.
Totally. Listen, I love having an objective, a goal, a task that I need to complete. That I get a little reward if I do.
See, that was like what I was most interested to see at the housewarming was like how people socialize. Because I was like, because I read The Art of Gathering. Have you read that?
No.
I tepidly recommend it. It's like kind of corporate. Like it's kind of like almost like how to gather people at like a conference or something, which I don't really mess with. But I was worried about like introducing everybody, and I didn't want to have to do the thing where it's like, well, this is Ramsey that I know from going to a bike disco, and this is because I'm like, who cares? And it went swimmingly because every person, the number one question you just ask is like, oh, how do you know Kath? And then it's like, oh, well, I met her through improv, and then it's like, oh, you do improv, and then you just, it goes from there. I didn't have to facilitate any conversation. I was like, I feel like that's just like, I don't know if that's commentary on the kind of people I surround myself with or just people have social skills that I am not aware of. But it's like, I was like, do I need to have a game? And I didn't even need to. People just got it cracking.
Do you want to be having more and better sex? Well, listen up, because I'm about to teach you how to have the best sex of your entire life. Beducated is an online course platform which brings pleasure-based sex education straight to your bedroom. You get access to over 100 different online courses from the world's leading sex experts to help you master new techniques, reignite existing sparks, and enjoy sex more. And we're in November now, which means Black Friday is right around the corner. But don't you worry, you do not have to wait for Black Friday to get great deals and bring you closer to achieving this euphoric sex life that we all dream of. Whether you'd be interested in taking a course on the best blowjob techniques, the best cunnilingus techniques, fingering, sex positions, threesomes, anything and everything that your brain can think up, they probably have it over on Beducated. I am maybe the horniest I've ever been in my entire life these days. Don't say anything in response to that. There is something in the air these days. I also went and saw Sleep No More, and there's a lot of nudity in that show. And there's something about like voyeurism that, I mean, I'm on one and it's like 5 days after. And when I feel like this, I find that it's the best time to dive into learning some new techniques and letting myself get a little bit curious. And right now, Beducated is offering the biggest discount they ever have to date. They are offering 60% off the yearly pass. And this is a deal that you would be locked in at for life. In order to get access to this yearly pass for 60% off, all you have to do is use code Maddie at checkout. Again, that is code Maddie at checkout for 60% off of the yearly pass at Beducated. Now, it is nice when you bring a bunch of people together and you don't have to like worry about if they're going to get along or not, or if people are going to know what to say to each other, and you just get to watch all of your friends become friends, and you're like, my job is done.
Well, have you had any success stories of like two friends that went off without you?
Totally. Yeah, all the time, which I love.
Have you had any matchmaking experiences?
I hope so, but no, I don't think so.
I feel like you could be such a good matchmaker if you're looking for more income streams.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
like,
so funny.
I'm like so not an entrepreneur, but for other people, I'm like, well, have you thought about this? Like,
Yeah.
I remember one time I was at a street fair and there was a lady selling bubbles, and I was like, well, you should really offer childcare services on the side, because all these. And I was like, why am I consulting her freelance at a solstice festival? Like, no, but
That's so funny.
I'm like, I would love to set a couple of my friends up.
Yeah.
Because then it would be a very unique couple where I like both parties equally.
See, I always tell to my friends, I'm like, I would love to be set up.
Yeah.
Please set me up. I've literally asked, and they've been like, and you know what? I appreciate them for this, because they're always like, I don't know anybody that's up to par for you. And I'm like, well, thank you for knowing that they're not up to par for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me give some thought. I'm like, I know a few people in New York, so I'm like, we'll chat after with the prospects. Because that would be so, I mean, I actually was just talking to a friend yesterday where they did like a house out in Vermont with like 15 people or something. And one of her friends kind of met one of the other friends, and they have been in cahoots. And I'm like, that's just such a blessing. But then of course it can cause people, I usually feel like, don't mix friends or like do that kind of thing, because they're worried about like if it goes bad, the destruction that could happen. Yeah. But I just can't live my life like that. No. Like I have to, and the beautiful things that have come out of it. Like I had a book club that Maddie was in, and just like so wonderful. A few people from the book club are like gonna go to Sundance together that like fell apart. But I was like, that's so excellent that like you guys want to hang out without me and I don't have to facilitate that anymore. Yeah. That's when I feel best, is when I don't have to invite them over anymore. They're inviting each other. Doing it. Yeah. Yeah. I know. That really is the best feeling. Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm taking notes. Trivia night, dinner party. I'm like, you're really good at the reoccurring events. Totally. I love a routine, something that people can expect. Yeah. But it's a little different every time, Absolutely. Which is why I like the themed dinner parties. You're a themer. Yeah. Listen, Themes I love a good theme. Themes are great. We all dressed up as the cast of Jersey Shore at trivia last week, and I was like, this is for Halloween, but I feel like maybe we should have a theme every week, because this was so fun. No, no reason. On the book club I do for my Patreon, like we do a monthly book, and people are like, we should do a theme, like something. Yeah. Like we read the White Album by Joni Mitchell. It's like, okay, everybody wear white. And then there was like some other book we read about like children or childhood. And it's like, okay, bring like a relic from your childhood. Yeah. Oh, and then like during checkouts, everyone went around and like shared these little things. I love it. And it was so sweet. I'm like, it's fun when people participate, but sometimes people are shy and they don't want to go full tilt for the theme. But I'm like, you guys, it's only fun if you go full tilt.
Totally.
It's like either no, it's all in or all out. Like you can't go half.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. But I do have some friends that are just not, you know, they're not costumed festive people, but I'm like such a festive person that I'm like, let me usher you into the culture.
Right. Yeah.
Like, let me
You're going to have so much fun. You just have to experience it.
It can be something so good if you let it.
So I was rewatching the video that you made a few months ago where you went around, it was your friendship census, which I loved. It's a fantastic video. You guys should all go watch it. But I thought that was, I was answering the questions for myself while I was watching the video. I think like one of the first ones you ask is just like, how many friends do you like feel that you have in this city?
Yeah.
And that is like such a interesting and also difficult to answer question.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it had me going, okay, well, what do I consider like for like the different levels of friendship that there are?
Yep.
What is it to me that makes me feel like these are the people that I can really rely on, that I could like a 4 a.m. friend, if something's wrong in the middle of the night, I can call them, they're going to pick up. I think that is what I really consider the bar of like close friendship, which maybe is a high bar to some people, but I think that is like what I want. When I call someone my friend, I want to be able to have that like closeness and intimacy with them. But it is interesting to me how differently people define friendship and how that's just like not of a huge importance to some people.
Some people are real loosey-goosey with it. Like they're not very intentional with their friendships.
Yeah.
They don't really like evaluate them very much. Maybe it's not sort of like at the core of like their world. Like maybe they're more focused on work or like more focused on like their significant other or something. But I mean, just to even have one 4 a.m. friend, I think is like such a huge accomplishment and excellent given the friendship recession that we're in. Like, that's huge. And especially being in a city where it's like you don't have family here, right? It's like, it's so important to have someone that you can go to and like can support you. And like my sister used to live in Seattle and she moved, and then I felt that void of like, that was who I used to call to like come over and like water my plants, and like if something was awry she could come help me with it. And it's like, no, I need to start building that, because you can't build it. It's not like someone is not binary. It's like someone's a 4 a.m. friend or they're not. It's like just takes time to build that intimacy.
100%.
But that's also that was my first time doing it in Seattle, and now I'm kind of like building up the questions where like when I'm going to film in New York and do a friendship census, and I'm like, I want to ask people, like, if you were to have a birthday party tomorrow, how many people would you invite?
I think about this all the time, because I'm like, there's like levels to it where it's like, if I'm only inviting like my closest friends, here's the number. If I'm expanding it to these people, then I have to invite these people too. Yep. And then it's like the list gets longer, but I hate large gatherings. Yeah. So I'm like, I always stick to the smaller number.
Right. Because I feel like that question's kind of like dual commentary, because it's like, first of all, maybe like an easier heuristic to like get people to answer how many friends they have, because it is kind of hard. It's just so nebulous. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. And then also it tells you how people like to gather. It's like, because I feel like a lot of people, birthday party, get asses in seats, get bodies in the room. Like they're trying to show to their other friends that they know people and that they're popular. Versus some people are very much like, I have one friend who I consider to be very popular, and I was putting together his birthday, and we could have done like a 6-person thing or a 10-person thing, and he opted for the 6-person. And I was like, oh my God, I totally thought, but it's because if you'd done a 10-person, it would have opened up the ring of people.
Right. And then you feel bad for not inviting those other people, because I'm like, I would have invited you, but then when it's just the smaller group and they know that like these are the people that I see every single week, then it's like people can understand, okay, I wasn't invited because clearly this is like a smaller thing with the people that are like in her daily life. Absolutely. Versus like the people that are in my like monthly life. Yeah. Or like twice a year life.
I saw monthly at that function.
Right.
And I'm a monthly.
Exactly.
I have little badges. I'm a Maddie monthly friend.
But it's hard because I also think about all the time, I'm like such a people pleaser. The thought of ever hurting another person's feelings and making someone feel not included literally makes me want to jump in front of a bus. Yeah. So I think that's also why I opt for smaller gatherings, because I'm just like, it's not personal. Once we get bigger, then it's like I need to invite every person that I've ever spoken to ever in my life, or else somebody's gonna be upset.
And that's why it's easier to be intentional and to actually like give some thought to it, not just slap it together like day of. Because I love when I'm invited to something and I can tell there's a reason that I was invited. Yeah, that makes me feel so much more included, and it feels like I'm really meant to be there. And it's not just like a throwaway invite where it's like, if you want to come through, it's like 100%. No, I want you to be like, I want you there. And I was invited to a birthday, like in a big, the other thing is how you invite people, but I was invited in this big Instagram group chat, and he was like, sorry if I missed anybody. I just put people in here that I've hung out with one-on-one recently. And I was like, that's a great barometer, you know? Cause it's like, if you're not a one-on-one friend, you've not hung out, you've not initiated that, you've not tried to do that, then it's like, you really can't be upset that you weren't included. Cause that was the sort of like the rule for exclusion. And I think there is like times where it's meaningful exclusion. And it's actually like merciful. Yeah. It's actually like, I know you wouldn't want to be there. That's why I didn't invite you.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's why I love doing like the themes for dinner parties. It's like if I'm doing a dinner party that's a book swap, I'm not going to invite people that don't read. Boom. When I'm doing a dinner party for singles, my friends in relationships are not getting the invite. And it's just like you don't apply to the conversations at hand.
Right. But if you don't have that intention, then it gets messy of having to justify, well, I invited that person, but I didn't invite that person, but I kind of met them in the same. It's like, if you're just like a neurotic person, it's like you have to just find like for my housewarming, it's like, what's kind of the thing that I'm going to use, like the sort of inclusion principle, not to like make it so formal. It's really not that formal, but it's like, and it's also like, I don't want to think about my friendships so hierarchically. Totally. And I don't want to rank them all, but like I have been asking people on the street, like, do you have like a best friend? Like, do you consider yourself to have those sort of like positions in your life? So it's interesting to think about how people conceive their relationships. Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah. I feel like I'm just so, I feel like I get very like over organized and clinical about it because I like care so much about fairness and like making everybody, I want everyone to feel included and special and good, but I also like want to, like the people that are around the most. Yeah. I want them to feel like they are more special because they are more special. Yeah. My friend, my best friend, who we've been best friends since we were 7 years old. Like I want her to feel like she is more special than anyone to me because we've lived every season of life together. Totally. She has known every version of me that has ever existed. Yeah. That is like a level of closeness that I cannot achieve with anybody else because time has passed. The door for that is closed for everyone besides her. So I'm like, I don't know. It's hard because I am always like, just it's a hard thing to navigate. People are going to miss the boat. It's like you didn't get on board in 6th grade or whatever. Right. So that's it. Sorry. Should have been there. Yeah. So it had to be their moment. Yeah. And I feel like I'm someone who's always open to new friendships. There's never a time in my life where I'm like, no new friends. I'm always like, if you would like to be friends, I would also like to be friends. Yeah, that was like one of the biggest takeaways from the video. I could tell in the comment section was like, I really wanted to show people that people are not operating scarcely. They're operating like everyone wants. Even if you see someone like Maddie, who obviously has so many amazing friends, is doing so many amazing activities in the city with them. It's like, no, she's still open to more friends too. Like there's not a cap. Obviously there's like, you only have so many hours in the week, but it's like making new connections, meeting new people is so rejuvenating. That's how you keep life fresh and like honestly slow down time. Cause it's like, okay, now you have this new element in the scheme of it all. And it's like, everyone wants new connections. Totally. Like, people are waiting to meet you. So get out there. Yeah. It's like, it's a hard balance of like, cause you want to prioritize who you're spending time with and like have time for like new relationships and like budding friendships, but also like prioritizing the people that are like the most like central to your life and that just I like, it seems like so corny for me to be like, this person is like literally a part of my heart and I need to speak to them on a day-to-day basis because I would literally, well, they have the other half of my locket necklace, just like so. I need her. Yeah. That's my person. Yeah, exactly. when I hold this up, that her finger's the other one.
Right,
That's completing
exactly.
it. You just can't see it, but it's there. Yeah. It's interesting because I feel like I grew up with like a very principled best friend, and unfortunately she passed away when I was in college, and so I've been absent of that sort of like role. But I have a melange of best friends, but I feel like I've been more timid lately to like be like, you're my best friend. Now we've made so much use of the term bestie.
I know.
That it's like, it kind of like socializes that around a little bit more. But it's like, I feel like I no longer have like, that's like my best friend. It's just kind of like, oh, these are like my closest friends, I guess. Or just like, honestly, just the people I spend the most time talking to.
Totally.
Yeah. But I think also because you're someone who has a flexible schedule, it's like you are able to maybe spend more time on those relationships. And I think it's so great to actually just like own that and be like, you know, I do have like open time during the day where it's like you can kind of make things work. You can be more accommodating probably to your friends than maybe if they work, you know, in the medical field or like, you know, my friend I'm staying with right now is a lawyer. I'm like, so I'm going to be home for dinner tonight because, and then I'm going to hang out with my, you know, content creators during the day because it's a Monday and
and that's how it works.
They don't got shit all to do. So.
Right. Listen, I can move anything around.
I was texting with both of you and it was just kind of like, well, the calendar's looking super gray and blank.
Listen, I'm like, I can do anything at any time.
Exactly. But I'm like, in talking about friendship, it's like, I understand that it's like, it actually like, it's not easy to like manage any relationship. Like relationships take a lot of time and care. And so it's like, sometimes, you know, in the spider web of life, like that's just like the one sort of part that's maybe a little bit more caved in. And then maybe you have more time to develop your friendships. But it's like, in this season of my life where I haven't been working my corporate job, it's like I do have more time and I'm like, that is my job, is to like build these relationships, especially in my late 20s, like heading into my 30s. I'm like, the people that I really care about, I want to see them around. And actually something that's really, I would love to ask you like maybe like the compliments you get as a friend that like touch you the most. Because one thing sometimes I'll hear is like both, I've seen multiple friends here that I've known since like high school or college or even middle school. And on several occasions, they'll be like, do you talk to anyone from that time? And I'm like, oh yeah. And both of them will be like, you're the only one. Yeah. And I'm like, that's because I'm really good at my job. Like I'm employee of the month. Yeah. And the year and the decade. So I'm like, you know, the thing, like I'm always gonna be an overachiever, but I'm like, this job, there's no salary. It's just praise. It's just love. It's just praise and love. But I'm like, I am one other sort of like stupid little half-baked theory that I have is like you're either like a friendship like maintainer, or you're really good at like, oh, what the hell? I can't even remember my own terminology for it. But it was like, I'm basically good at friendship. Oh, retention. There's like retention and then there's conversion. And some people are really good at just like meeting someone at a coffee shop, striking up a conversation, boom, you're hanging out with them outside of that environment in a different scenario and you weave them into your life. I feel like I'm really good at like, once I meet somebody, I'm like, well, you're going to be in my book club and then I'm going to meet up with you and you're going to stay in my life. Yeah. Because I've identified you and like, I, you know, have set my sights on you and I'm going to make sure you're in my life. And it's like a lot of people, they just kind of, you know, they're more laissez-faire about it and they just let what will be. Can I ask you if there's any compliments that you get that like really touch your heart?
I feel like the compliments that I appreciate the most are the ones that I don't hear as often. I feel like I always get compliments about like my louder characteristics. And I so appreciate when people are able to see and like recognize the like softer side of me, which me looking at myself feels like the more prominent side. But I think in the way that I'm perceived by other people, oftentimes that is not the like first thing that people see. So I think like when people comment on like my thoughtfulness or like the things that I remember about people, and like I think gift giving has become like a more regular part of my life, probably in part because of my mom, because growing up, that was like the way that my mom showed that she cared and she paid attention. Like, and to this day, like I'll say something to her in passing, and then 6 months later she'll show up with like this gift that connects back to this thing I told her that I forgot I even told her 6 months ago, and makes me be like, oh my God, you really paid attention. You remembered this thing about me. And so I think because my mom was always like that, it's made me like that. And so it always makes me feel good when other people recognize that in me and recognize that I have been like silently paying attention and taking notes. And like, yeah, I think when people just like acknowledge my thoughtfulness or like the time and care I'd put into organizing something or a gift or anything, that just makes me feel like so good, because it definitely is, I don't know, it's like a softer, like quieter thing. It goes under the radar. And so it's definitely not something that I hear as much as, you know, maybe other things about my more loud and prominent aspects of my personality.
What's your mom's name?
Anne.
God bless you, Anne.
God bless Anne.
God bless Anne. And it's so, getting older as a woman, you just see your mother in you and you're like, oh, that's because I'm a daughter of Marabee. I've also been sort of ruminating. I should interview my mom, but she's like not good on camera. You know, like it doesn't come through where I'm like, I know you can shine.
I know.
I'm like, I'm a stage mom for my mom, where I'm like, you got it, honey.
I know. Like, my mom is like so painfully shy. If I ever put her on camera, she'd be like a robot. Even though I'd love to have a conversation with her.
My dad's like a ham though. Like he's so great on camera. Like he's a celebrity. Like everyone just like loves him. He's so endearing. But it's interesting because, you know, I have two parents. You know, some of us do. And I have two. And there's a banana underneath your. Oh, that's a toy.
It's one of Mango's toys. I love that there's just like a banana underneath my TV stand.
A banana like, just saving that for later.
Yeah, that Mango put it underneath there for later.
Okay, that's a little hidden gem for the viewers at home, listeners at home. You know, the angles you don't see in her apartment. But like in terms of like friendship, sort of like approaches and strategies, it's like my mom is a very festive person. My mom is a planner, and my mom is like definitely someone who will find like kooky events in the city and like invite people, and like she's very much that way. And so it's like I wonder like how much of like the way I build friendships is truly just learned from her. My dad, I'm like one of his closest friends, so I can't really say I've learned too much from him. Bless you, Tim. But you know, it's like, you know, do you feel like I guess it sounds like you know that you've inherited that.
Totally.
Is there anything from your dad that you feel like
I feel like my dad, I admire him so much, and I feel like a lot of my passion and drive does come from him. He has been like my like biggest supporter my whole life. Like every time I did my little theater shows, he was the guy that was like, this girl's gonna be famous, everybody. And he would like just any chance he got to be like, this is my daughter. Oh. He would. So I feel like he definitely has made me feel a lot more like confident in pursuing the things that I care about. He makes me feel important. He makes me feel like the small things that I care about are important. And like, but mostly I feel like I'm quite different from him. He is like so extroverted, so charismatic. He stresses me out sometimes with like how outgoing he is, because we'll go anywhere and he is best friends with everybody in that fucking room. And I'm like, I don't know how you're doing this right now. Every cab we've ever got into, every waiter we've ever had, my dad is he and ha-ha within 30 seconds of knowing this person.
See, that's a friendship conversion specialist.
Yeah. Right. And I'm like, I'm so impressed by it. I'm like, I love people like that, because I also now feel like whenever I'm around him, I am comfortable wherever we go, because he's going to take care of it. He's going to make it like the most fun and welcoming space for everybody. I think it's like so much fun to take friends home to like visit my parents and hang out with my family, because I know that my dad's going to like make sure everyone has a good time. My friends came up for a week this past summer, and we're all sitting on the couch like playing fucking Jackbox games with my family until 2 a.m. And I'm like, I love this. I love that like my dad makes everyone feel like so at home and welcome, and I like so admired that in him because he can hit it in a way that I can't. I feel like I'm great at like the one-on-one conversations and like getting people to feel like safe in a conversation and open up and be vulnerable. My dad hits it from like the like, let's all fucking have fun. I'll make friends with a stranger over here, this waiter, this cab driver, whoever. We're all gonna have a good time and you're gonna feel like you're a part of the family just because of the way he is.
And that is like we need what's your dad's name?
Torin.
We need Torins.
We need Torins.
We need them. We need them. And like the best I've also been like, okay, if I'm a friendship retention specialist, let me get into my conversion bag and see if I can, you know, cross the aisle.
Yeah.
And the best I've gotten at it is just over the years, like once I turned 25, really I got so much more self-assured, and I also just got tired of like kind of masking my personality to like strangers and just keeping it really acceptable. Like I kind of lost the acceptability politics of it. And so I have no social script anymore. Like if a cashier is like, you know, what are you doing later that day? Like I'll tell them, you know, it's like, if it's something extremely embarrassing, I'll let them know. Or like yesterday I was at a coffee shop and, this guy came outside and it was super cold, and I was actually I went out for a repeater and I was wearing this exact thing. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe and comment. But he was like French. He was like, aren't you ladies cold? The only accent I can do is Irish. I can do that so well. But and then I was just like, the normal thing to say would be like, oh no, we're fine, or yeah, I'm a little chilly. Like that is like the normal thing to say. But I was just like, no, I got my Uniqlo heat tech on. And he was like, you got your Uniqlo heat tech. I was like, and then we had like a marvelous, he came out 3 more times while we were out there.
That's so funny.
Because I think he was bored at his job.
Yeah.
Not because we were that like likable or anything. He literally was just like, I need to spice up the day. But it was just so like lovely to just interact with somebody just like masks off. Like this is exactly who I am. Because it's like when you show yourself, then they can show themselves. So I feel like a lot of times those like friendship converter people are just so good at letting it all hang out.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And then to the I have so much to comment on. And then I'm replying to the comments that you just said. So I'm typing in the box. What I was gonna say is, I also love having my friends meet my parents for a different reason. In that I feel like it always, and this is also why I like having my friends meet my other friends, is I feel like it clarifies for them who I am more.
Yeah.
And when they meet my parents, they're like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
They're like, I see exactly how you came to be. Yeah. And it like stabilizes me more in their like consciousness. And same thing with like meeting my friends from different phases of my life. Yeah. It's like, it's just, they see me, it's like, you get to know my friends, you get to know me better. Yeah. And it's like so wonderful for people to like, I really love giving people access basically to you. It's like it's very vulnerable, but it's like a huge gift.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like I've said so often recently, very recently in life, just like observing, like watching myself become very similar to my parents, particularly my mom, which I feel that I become more and more her twin as time goes on.
Twins.
Which is like so funny because I feel like when I was younger, if you told me that I was going to be like my mom, I would have been like, don't say that. Yeah. Not because I don't love my mom. Yeah. My mom is one of my closest friends and always has been. I love that woman to bits and pieces. But like I have a complicated relationship with her. Yeah. And always have. And I feel like
that's just the ladybird of it
that's
all.
Just right. It is. But I feel like, especially over the last year, I feel like there's been like such huge changes in my relationship with my mom for the better. And I feel like closer with her in the last year than I have in my entire life. Wow. And I feel like there's just been like a lot of healing and growth that has happened in this relationship. And now that is happening, I feel like it's easier for me to like look at the two of us and be like, I am my fucking mother's daughter.
Absolutely.
Like we are so similar to each other.
And it gets a little scary. Yeah. It gets a little scary. No, that's truly, that's a canon event. Yeah. That's a canon event.
Absolutely.
For sure.
I'm like almost knocking off my Diet Coke at least 3 times while I'm doing this.
And on that note, uppercut to the Coke can.
Oh, I also, this is sort of a random, like totally disconnected thought, but I feel like I don't know many people that have been making YouTube videos for as long as I have, and you are one of those people that has been around since the dawn of time.
I've been in this too. Not as long as Tiffany. She has us.
Tiffany has also been around for a long ass time. When do you know like the exact date that you made your channel?
I think it was like July. I want to say July 11th, but that's my mom's birthday. So I'm like, there's no way it was July 11th, but it was like July, the summer before 9th grade for me. So it was 2011 or no.
Okay.
2011 was summer. I don't even know. It was July of 2011. Yeah.
That's wild. And I'm July 2010.
Okay.
So it's like that era of the internet.
Summertime when you're bored as shit. You're like,
listen,
it's time to turn the camera
I had the
on.
laptop, MacBook fucking webcam on, and I was like, Dad, please let me post this sick music video to YouTube.
Dude, I was on like a little webcam. It was like a black thing, horrible quality. It was like 360p. It was a square. Before, now it's like Indian artsy to do like a square aspect ratio. And then I would edit on my Windows Movie Maker. And then as soon as my sister got a MacBook, because she was older than me, I would steal it. And in secret, I would record on Photo Booth and then upload it. And then I basically would just borrow. My dad got like a digital camera, and I was like, stealing that.
Right.
I was literally just like, let me circle the nepotism drain and just grab my family's belongings. Because I'm kind of, one of my belief systems is like, whatever you own, it should get as much use as possible.
Totally.
And so I'm like, if they're owning it and if the camera's sitting dusty and dirty for 3 months, let me pick it up and give it some life. So yeah, I've seen so many phases of the internet, and it's like, that's also why it's like, I do feel like I always say like I'm like an old hag of the internet, which is obviously tongue in cheek, because it's like I'm 27. Like I know that I'm not old, and if I were old, that would be sexy and wonderful to live a full life. But it's like, now seeing people come up now, I'm like, oh, you have no idea what you're in for.
Right. Yeah. I feel like there's always some part of it that I'm like, I think about like how other people must perceive me, or like what era of the internet people categorize me in, because I'm like, I've been around forever, but my channel, I didn't have a lot of people watching my videos until like 2 years ago. Yeah. So I'm like, to them, I'm not like a part of that like OG YouTuber era, even though in my head I am, because that's how long I've been here. Yeah. But I'm like, I don't know. It's so weird to me because like in my head, if someone was like, oh, I just discovered her this year. And so that's like where my birth is like 2022. Yeah. Even though I've been making videos for 13 years. The surges and the swells, I feel like, are so interesting, because like I think I found you like 3 years ago, and now that you say that, I'm like, I need to go back into the archive. And I actually love like Amanda Mariana is the same, where like I started watching her like 3 years ago because she started making video essays, but she was making vlogs before that. And we were on a trip and we screened her old college vlogs because like one of her friends that was in it was there. And I was like, this is so fun to go back and see the you before I met you. I have like all of my old videos private. Me too. Oh no. Oh, my shit's up there. I like literally, I took all of them down because I mean, some of them are still up there. The ones that I was like, to this day, I'm like, oh, I like that video. Right. Most of what I made as a teenager, I do not love. So I'm like, that's all gonna go away. Yeah. Listen, I'll send you a document. That should be one of your like dinner parties, is like a screening. Just, oh my god, I would literally pass away. The thing is like, there's some like my music videos that I made when I like first started YouTube. I find all of those like adorable and endearing. Yeah. And I would show everyone those videos. Yeah. Because I just find them like, that was timeless. My favorite era of the internet. Oh yeah. Like, to be 13, 14 years old making stop motion videos in my bedroom. To TikTok by Kesha. Yeah. It was just such a beautiful time. And I look back at those videos now and remember like feeling so like angsty and misunderstood. And like I was so uncool, but I thought I was so cool. And so I would be like ruthlessly bullied in school for these videos, but I would go home and be like, you guys just don't fucking get it. You don't see the vision, but I see the vision. And so that's why I'm going to keep making them. Because were there other girls at your school that would make music videos? Not really. Okay, because that was like kind of a thing. I grew up in the Bay Area, so it's pretty like tech forward, but that was like a thing in middle school. It was like 9 of us would get together in like my friend's house, and then we would all collaborate on like a music video and get a bunch of different clips and do like little choreography, and then like someone would edit it together, and then it would be posted on like
Like it would be posted on YouTube and then be posted on Facebook.
Before I had my YouTube channel, I was posting on Facebook.
Yeah. And so it was like there was some camaraderie in it where it wasn't, but like my own personal YouTube videos, I wasn't doing music videos, and those lived in secrecy. Like nobody knew. I was like closeted. Yeah. Could not tell a soul. Right. Well, I know I told like 2 people. Yeah. And then actually someone in my Spanish class somehow found me when I only had like a few hundred subscribers. And she tried to out me, and I was like, no, keep it on the DL. Can't let this get loose. And now, of course, like, you know, I'm super public with it, and people just had no idea. But
no, people used to tell the teachers that I made music videos and ask them to pull it up on the projector in class.
No, thank you.
I have like distinct memories of being in math class and having the whole fucking 25-person class watch my videos projected onto the whiteboard. Yeah. And I was always like, so is there a reason that we're doing this?
So how does this relate to the curriculum? We have a STAR test at the end of the month, and this is not. No. Yeah, it's interesting now because I feel like generationally, a lot of the content creators coming up now culturally treat it so differently. Like my friend Anne Marie lived in a content house, and they would like, whenever they'd post videos, they would all sit on the couch and they would screen one by one the videos, and they would all watch them. And I was like, that would mortify me. I'm like, I obviously know that my shit's public, you can watch it, but it's like, do that on your own time, not in front of me.
Totally.
But they were like, let everyone see it, and I'll be here to watch you watch it. Wow. And I'm like, that is something different. Times are a-changing. Yeah. That's a sign of the times.
I know. Like, it is a sign of the times.
Wasn't the way it worked.
Yeah. Back, I feel like 2010, 2011, making videos was mortifying. And I felt like it was like, now it's like everybody's a content creator now, basically. There's so many different social media apps that people are constantly putting content out on. I feel like 2010, 2011, to be a somebody that was making videos was like, you were the weird kid automatically.
Yeah. Yeah, because I had friends that would be on Tumblr. Yeah. And that was more normalized to post on Tumblr. Also because you weren't sharing so much of yourself.
Yeah, it was more anonymous.
And just photos that weren't even of you, maybe. And then like, you know, people were on Twitter in my high school, you know, posting on Facebook and stuff. But yeah, YouTube was definitely like, that was and a lot of people don't even to this day like don't even watch YouTube, so it's just like completely closed door to them. They like don't understand any of it.
And at that time it was really only YouTube. I feel like Instagram and TikTok. Yeah. Instagram was what, 2012? Yeah. And then Vine, TikTok, those were the ones that were more like face forward beyond YouTube. But I feel like YouTube was the only one in like 2010. Yeah. That was like a platform. Yeah. A public facing, anybody can watch it platform.
Yeah. That's why it's just so different when someone starts their YouTube career like now. Yeah. It's just so different. I'm like, the conditions are just so different.
Yeah, completely.
And in a way, because some people are like, oh, the market's oversaturated, no point to starting it. But in a way, it's like, it's never been a better time because it's like never been more it's never been more accepted.
Yeah,
like
literally.
It's never been more accepted. Like you would have received so much more scrutiny if you did it 10 years 100%. Ago. So like, it's a softer landing pad now. Yeah. To try it. And it's like, I also see a lot of people will create like Instagram accounts to kind of document some of their journeys. Like I felt like some people, like they start dancing or they start comedy or something, they'll like start an Instagram account and like kind of document their journey that way instead of like doing YouTube. But I'm like, put it in a video and put it online. I want to click play. Right. I'm tired of reels. Just get it.
I know.
Get it long and get it horizontal.
I love a long form piece of content. Yeah. At my core, I'm a long form content girly.
I'm like, press play. Just let it go. Don't have to go.
Right. Yeah. I want everything to be a podcast. A major motion picture posted to youtube.com.
That's how you should brand your videos. Like, you know, when there's like the preview before, like, this is a major motion picture.
Listen, you guys don't get it. I'm posting a 40-minute video to the internet.
And, you know,
this is a short film.
Yeah. Compared to just making a little reel, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
And I'm like so excited for like 20 years from now getting to watch the videos I'm making right now the same way I watched the ones I made when I was 13. Yep. And I'm like, God, I love 13-year-old Maddie. She's so cute for all of this. Yeah. And then I can't wait for when I get to watch the stuff I'm making right now that is like so much more personal and detailed and really does capture like who I am today. Yeah. It's going to be so special to watch that years from now when the version I am now feels like a distant memory.
An interesting thing about like any creative journey, whatever medium you create in, is like I always think of it as like, okay, you're always going to be moving forward, making progress this way. But I'll rewatch videos sometimes from a few years ago and I'll be like, let me get back to that.
Yeah.
Actually, I liked what I was doing there and I haven't done that in a minute. And I think it's because like I am such a product of my environment. Like whoever I'm watching of that time will definitely seep into my content. Yeah. Like I could probably name my sources for different years. And if you watch the videos, you'd be like, oh, I see how that person impacted her. I see that she was consuming a lot of, you know, Brittany Broski at that time or whatever. Like you can see sort of or Mike, when I started watching Mike's Mike,
love Mike's
I was never the same again. Like I could be like, I'm always just like, well, like, no, like, or like just little, like, I feel like his little affectations, I pick him up when I can't put him down. I can't put him down. So, I mean, I'll never be him, but I will always pay tribute and give credit to the people that came before you. Yeah. And he didn't come before me, but I'm in line after him still somehow.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I love him. He's brilliant. People who make like long form content like
that's a major
that's more than a major motion picture.
And he's writing a screenplay.
And you know what? I would watch like 8 hours of him.
And I would fly to Australia and be the PA.
I would. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Give me on the set. I'll do it for free.
It's an incredible feat what he does. I'm inspired.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could ever do it. The one thing I do feel tempted to do in that like same style that he does is I would love to rewatch and break down Love Island season 5 for everybody in the Mike's Mike style, because I would have fun with that personally.
And I don't know anyone more qualified to do it. And that's the thing is like, if you're going to do that, if anyone's going to do those type of videos, you need to be the foremost expert. Like you need to have really consumed that with a watchful eye. Cause
totally
those lots of people have sort of copied the Mike's Mike style of like breaking down seasons of TV or whatnot, or different, you know, events in pop culture. The difference is like, he is a researcher and a studier. He went to grad school, like for engineering, but still. And he you can tell the attention detail is there, where some people, I'll watch the video expecting to learn more about that show or about that event, and I'll watch it and I'll be like, no, I got all that.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I want you to tell me something I didn't know. Yeah. Like I want you to be so at the extreme. I want you to be an extremist for that. Yeah. So, you know, it takes a special hand, but I haven't seen any Love Island ones pop up.
And I would have so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just like curious what the demand for a video like that. Cause to me, that's like what consumes my day-to-day life. The thoughts inside my brain, 1 in every 10 thoughts is Love Island season 5. So I would love to talk more about it because it is one of my favorite things. If I had to make a list of my favorite things, it's on there.
Yeah. And I'm like, my main principle with making content is just whatever scratches my own itch. Yeah. And I think if you follow that, because it's like, that is the best ever on the internet, is when there's truly a gap in the market and you're like, this might be a micro split fracture gap. It might be so small, but until you fill it, you will not actually know. Right. And then sometimes, like, I'm sure Mike's Mike, when he started making those videos, was like, who the hell is going to watch it? And now hundreds of thousands of us do. And it's like such a phenomenal body of work. So I'm like, to me, it's like, you never know what's going to be a flip or a flop on YouTube, but it's like, those risks are always worth taking. Yeah. It's like, sometimes those are breakthrough videos where it's like, this has never been done before. And thank God you didn't just like stick to the script of like, what's conservative for the algorithm, you know? Yeah.
I know. I would love to do more like commentary sit down type videos. Yeah. I have a long list of ideas, but they seem like such beasts for me to tackle, that it's like the planning of my ideas I'm always like, damn, well, that's like a really big video for me to try to tackle, and what if nobody even watches it and I spend all these hours on it? I got bills to pay.
Yeah. And the thing is, you're a weekly girl. Yeah. Like, you're so consistent. Like, you are on top of it, and like, truly just, I've literally never had an upload schedule on YouTube in my 10 years. I've never even had a frequency that I stick to. I've never even committed to it, because I'm just like, it's just whatever comes. But like, yeah, for those commentary videos, that is why
it takes so long.
There's sometimes months of gap between, because it's like, you do, and then it's like, that is scary because it's like you take months of gap, you put all that time in. What if it does just
right?
And then you're like, oh my God.
Right.
But it's like that's the people that have audacity as artists and as creators. It's like that is what they do. It's true. They put themselves out there like that. So I think let's sound off in the comment section if you would wait like a couple weeks for a Maddie video and you would not harass her for not uploading if she was working on
my upload schedule is already so erratic on my main channel because I'm like, it's like I put out 4 videos a month. When those videos come, it's a mystery to you and me both.
That's fair.
It's
but
like the 4 videos are happening. It's like the exact same as if I posted once a week, except you might get like 2 videos in the first week and 2 videos in the last week.
Okay. Well, to me, in my head, it's weekly.
Yeah. Honestly, in my head, it's weekly too, because that's how I'm making it. It's just a lot of times it's just not how it works out, or like when I'm getting brand approvals or whatever else, it's just like the schedule gets messed up. Yeah. Even though I'm producing it week by week.
Well, I think you should. Yeah, I think you should huddle on a commentary video and give it a crack.
Yeah.
Using the mic as a prop. It's like.
Okay, so I've been dying to talk about this for a week, but there was a list that came out about the worst first dates.
And who made this?
That's a great question.
Because I remember there was like
don't know.
a New Yorker or maybe it was a Vulture, and it was like 100 pieces of etiquette, and they had different people like write in, and they were inane and not useful at all. One of them was like how to like act if you're around a celebrity, and I was like, I live in Seattle, Washington. Like, when do you think, I'm just cozying up to Bill Gates? Like, no, like it's like it was clearly just written by people who were cultural elites, and I was like, your etiquette is not for the common man.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the first place I saw this list was it posted on like the Complex Instagram. Okay. I don't know. I just saw people reposting it and I was like, this is fascinating. And now
I love to dig into the sources, and just see whose mind from the minds of the worst people
right.
The 50. Let's get it popping.
So it's a new survey asking women where they do not want to be taken on a first date. The list was originally, or I don't know.
Wait, can I guess before you read them?
Yeah.
Because you've already read them.
I've already read them.
Okay, I feel like there's been a lot of discussion about walks. People are very anti-walk. They're like, buy me something.
Interesting.
People are anti-walk. They're anti-coffee. They're anti-like ice cream. I feel like that is what I've been hearing a lot.
Yeah. I have been hearing a lot of like anti-coffee.
Yeah.
Anti like short, like low commitment dates, basically. Yeah. Where no money is spent and you're just like there for a brief moment in time. I don't personally understand that.
I don't personally understand. To me, the best scenario, I don't care what we do on the first date, I just want you to come to me.
yeah, exactly. Make it easy for me.
Like, it doesn't have to be extravagant, but just like come my way. Come my way, and then next time I'll go closer to you. But like, that's my only unfair expectation.
Yeah, this is an interesting list. I guess it was just made by some random person on Instagram. So the data here is
temper your expectations.
Yeah. I don't think this is like really
this is not peer reviewed.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I mean, I'd be interested to like make my own list. Right. Of like of this corner of the internet. What are the
straight women, or is this like
I don't even know that they got that deep into it. I think it's just, I'm looking at the original poster right now.
We'll be able to tell when we get through it. I can always tell the angle it's coming from.
Yeah, so there's 28 spots on this list. I'll go from bottom to top.
Okay.
Okay, so
are these like one is the worst?
One is the worst. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so 28 is sporting events.
Okay. I was just passing by the UW Stadium in Seattle where like the football team plays, and I was like, I want to sit there one time, and it has to be with a man that I'm seeing, because there's no other reason that I'm going to be at a sports game unless it's because a man had an interest in it. But I don't think I'd want to go on a first date. I would just want to go one time and leave whenever I wanted to.
Yeah. I feel like I hate sports.
Yeah.
So if you're taking me to a sporting game on a first date, that to me tells me you did not ask me what I wanted to do or what I was going to be interested in. I'm so down to go to a sporting event if the person that I'm dating for a while likes sports, and I will dress up and look cute and be excited. But on a first date,
see, I already feel like this is written by a straight woman because I'm like, lesbians love to go to a soccer game.
yeah, this is true.
So I'm like, I can tell you right now, like, that's not going to hold for everybody. But it's like, also it's a big commitment to go to a sports game. Yeah. That's a long thing. Yeah. It's like, it's not like you can just leave after the first inning. No. You know? So that's not a first date ticket.
Yeah, for sure. No. The next one is Waffle House.
Where the hell is this person living? They did not write this. What audience did they write this for?
Well, there's quite a few like specific locations on this list that people don't want to go to. Waffle House on a first date, I wouldn't personally want to go to a Waffle House on a first date.
Or these people have gone on first dates there?
Could be either way.
See, I have too many questions for the like integrity of these.
They absolutely refuse to be taken.
I mean, have you been to Waffle House?
Maybe like once or twice because they're not really around here.
I went in Atlanta and I didn't have a huge opinion on it. So I'm a pass.
Yeah. 26 is a bar for just drinks.
What the hell does that mean?
Which that would probably be my ideal first date activity is just going to get a drink. Food? I guess when it's just, I'm reading it as like when somebody just asks you to go grab a drink. Okay. For a date. It's not like, oh, we're going to go get dinner or we're going to sit down and do something. We're just stopping at a bar, having a quick drink.
Why am I getting more pissed off at the way that they present these than the actual thing itself? I'm like, that's not specific enough. Not enough context. Because I'm like, what if it's a bar for trivia, right? What if it's a bar and it's drag night? You know, fun. But bar for just drinks. I mean, that's fine. That's conservative choice. Yeah. That's a conservative choice.
I think that's usually what I would prefer the most for a first date. Yeah. I don't know that I want to go on a dinner date on a first date. I would. No. But a dinner date is like a high investment if you find out mid appetizer that you don't like the person.
Yeah. I'm more of like a brewery gal because I just like a sour or even just like a kombucha. I don't even need to drink alcohol. Right. And breweries are nice because it's just like, it's outdoors, so it's like you can sit wherever, and it's just like super casual. So if there's not a vibe, it's like just two pals hanging out. Right.
And it's like if it's not going well, there's many opportunities to leave. Yeah. But if it is going well, you can just sit and keep drinking. Yeah. Yeah. Whereas at dinner, you're locked in to a specific amount of time. We all know
this to be true. Yeah. Like, this is beginner's knowledge, right? You don't commit to dinner unless you've met the person before and you know that you have 2.5 hours to fill.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, 25. 26.
25 and 24 I'll loop together because I think they're similar. Hookah bars and nightclubs.
Have you done hookah?
Once.
Yeah, me too, once. That was like end of high school, like one and done. Yeah. And I was just kind of like, it's just, I think the ceilings were too low. When you pull up and the ceilings are low, it's like,
what's going on here? Yeah, going on a first date to a nightclub is bonkers. I didn't even know people did that.
That's like if like they're a terrible conversationalist but an excellent dancer. I do love when someone knows their strength. I am waiting to date someone who is like an excellent rollerblader, like roller skater, or an ice skater. Cannot tell you how it's reverse ick for me when you pull up and you think they're gonna be bad at it
and they're
so good. I'm like,
I know, let's go to an arcade and let me watch you do DDR.
Literally, it's a lost art. I'm like, just take me to where you're gonna be sexed up. Yeah, it's like if you are a bad conversationalist, you're not funny, show me your talent show.
23 is bowling.
My mouth just closed.
I feel in the middle about this mainly because I'm bad at bowling. If I was good at bowling, I'd be like, yeah, let's go bowling.
On HBO?
No.
I think you would like that show. It's really good. It's really good. Written by a woman. It's like romantic comedy series. There's like, and it's one of those amazing is it on HBO? I think it's on HBO where it's only 6 episodes a season and they're like 30 minutes. All the best shows, Fleabag, 2 seasons, 6 episodes, 30 minutes each. Like when they are that intentional about it, I'm like, this shit's gonna be good. Anyway, they went on a date to a bowling alley there and it was like, they made it look cute. But that was their second time meeting.
Okay.
So
I think bowling can be cute. Literally the sole reason why I wouldn't like it is because I'm bad at bowling and I have long nails, so it's hard for me to bowl.
Also, that is a longer commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, exit strategy is important with a first date.
Yeah.
So bowling, it's like you have to get out of the shoes.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm gonna go return these. No.
Yeah. Also, bowling shoes are maybe an ick for a first date.
But if you can get past
watching someone
shoes,
put on bowling
if
shoes,
you can get past seeing them in the bowling shoes and you're still attracted, that's a good sign.
that's a good sign.
That's a good sign.
Okay. 22 is somewhere that requires a long drive, which I agree.
Oh,
I don't
and you're
want to
driving
travel
together?
far for a first date.
Yeah.
Together or separate.
Yeah.
I was reading this as like we're meeting somewhere that requires a long commute from me.
When I was in the Bay Area, there was a guy that went on a first date with me, and he drove from like, for the Bay Area viewers, love you. He drove from like Gilroy up to like Mountain View, which is like maybe 45 minutes. No, it was further south. Anyway, he drove like 45 minutes for a first date, and I was just like,
Yeah.
that's a lot. Where it almost makes the other person feel like you have to like show them a good time or like spend more time with them, because it's like, what if you get there, you spend 45 minutes and you're like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Then they just spent twice as much time driving than on the date.
Totally. I always like, whenever I'm going on a first date, I'm always asking like, okay, what neighborhood are you based in? And then let's picking like a middle spot between the two of
That's
us.
very respectful.
Because I'm like, I don't want to make the other person come all the way out here, because also I feel like a lot of the times when people come all the way out here, especially for first dates, it turns into like oh, so you live around
Yeah.
here? Should we go hang out at your apartment? And
Oh,
I'm
you
like,
have a cat?
no, we shouldn't.
Let me meet your cat.
You're not coming home with me.
I'm like, I know you want to meet my cat.
Yeah. So I'm like, when it's in the middle ground spot, I feel like
We can't go back to either of our places.
yeah.
Sorry.
Right, exactly.
We're too far.
It's a little
We're
too
in
far.
between. And that's, yeah. No,
You-
I as I already said, I'm like, come to me. But
Yeah.
also because in Seattle, public transit, different situation, and I don't have a car. So it's such an easy dunk for me to be like, I don't have a car, so you come to me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. 21 is movie night, which, yeah.
Yeah.
Movie on a first date.
Yeah.
First of all, also this says movie night in parentheses, Netflix, Hulu, etc., which says to me movie night at my house, which is a huge no.
No. We've been through this.
20 is family functions, which is insane.
See, at this point,
How
I'm
is
just
this
like,
on the list? Who's doing first date at a family function?
Now they're just pulling this out of their ass.
Right. Which one of you went through this?
Family. No. Next.
But now we're getting into some more like specific places. So we have ice cream dates, coffee dates, and Starbucks back
Okay.
to back.
So that's what I expected to hear.
Yeah.
Were those. And honestly, especially if you're sober, thinking about where to go on a first date that's not to the bar, I'm always pro dessert. I'm
Yeah.
like, dessert's great. Like, because it's like you can still make dinner at home. Go out 8 p.m., get a little dessert, done by 9:30, pop back in. Coffee, like a tea date at like 4:35.
Yeah.
Great.
Love
That was
it.
one of my best first dates, was just like a tea date. So I'm pro.
Yeah. I'm pro as well. I wouldn't want to go to a Starbucks.
Not a Starbucks.
Take me to like a cute little coffee shop in your
Yeah.
neighborhood. Do not take me to a Starbucks.
No.
Because like, I don't know, when I'm inside of a Starbucks or really like any chain restaurant, I'm like, I could be on a highway rest stop right now, because they all look exactly the same on the inside. So I'm like, I don't feel comfy, cozy in here. I feel like this is a quick pit stop.
To me, that proves you don't have flavor, you don't have vision,
Yeah.
you don't have taste.
Right.
So-
I need to settle in. I'm meeting someone new. We're trying to like connect,
It's-
and I can't do that in a Starbucks.
It's sterile in there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not
Exactly.
it's not for that. It's not for canoodling.
16 is church.
That would be such a great litmus test, though. Like,
I
especially
would never agree to that. I would never in my life. If somebody asked me, I'd be so real. I'm not responding to that text. If somebody messaged me on Hinge and was like, let's go on a first date, and I'd be like, oh, great, yeah. Where you have anything in mind? And they say, do you want to come to church with me? I am unmatching.
My thing depends what church. Depends what
Okay.
church. If it's like Christian denomination, I'm like, I've been to a lot of those services, so it's just like I'm familiar. If it's something I've like never been to before. Like in Seattle, there's so many like weird woo-woo spiritual type things where I'm like, what faith are they practicing in there? And if they were a member of the congregation, I'd be like, I would be, but it's still not a first date. That's still not a first date.
I feel like there's something about that makes me feel like I'm being like tested.
They could be trying to convert you or, you know, invite you into a cult. And I'm very susceptible to that, which is probably why I'm like, oh, I would go. Community.
Yeah. The gym.
What?
The gym is not a date. It never has been a date. It never will be a date. The gym is not a date.
I'm disturbed by that. I'm disturbed by that. I also don't date like gym rats.
Yeah,
like,
no, neither do I.
My cup of
not
tea.
my vibe either.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not for me.
No thanks.
Okay, now we've got a bunch of restaurants back to back here. Denny's, IHOP, Red Lobster, Wingstop, Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay, are you doing it ironically or sincerely? Because there was one time where I nearly was going to go to Olive Garden on a first date because I love Olive Garden. However, again,
Olive Garden is also on this list.
That's a commitment, all right? You're sitting down and you're for your unlimited garlic breadsticks and freaking salad.
I'm not mad about that.
But like, yeah.
Here's the thing. There are certain like chain restaurants that I'd be cool with on a first date.
Right. But again, like what if you're stuck there for like 2 hours? And they're
dud. They'd have but there's something about like if somebody asked me on a first date and they were like, so Olive Garden, I'd be like, I think I like you.
No, exactly.
I think we'll get along.
For the gag of it, like it is a little bit, I feel like it would be the context of it's a little loony, so it would open you up to be a little bit more goofy and not be so serious.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's like second date fodder for me.
Yeah.
On the first date, you're like, dude, Olive Garden's the best. And they're like, oh my God, yeah. And then you're like, okay, so pull up at Olive Garden.
Yeah.
See you next Tuesday.
Right. Okay, the next one's any fast food chain, your house, the movies. And then the final 5 I'll read back to back because they're all restaurants.
Okay. I feel like we've covered a lot of those already.
Yeah.
Fast food chain.
Yeah, it's just like...
I'm trying to think of a fast food chain that I'm like, that would work. No.
Yeah, not really.
No.
So the top 5, these are the most submitted places that people refuse to go on a first date. And I'm actually really mad about the number 1 ranked place because this is where I would love to go on a date.
Okay.
Genuinely.
Okay.
In 5th place, we have Olive Garden. 4th place, Chipotle. 3 Chili's. 2 Applebee's. 1 The Cheesecake Factory. How dare you?
Come on now.
How actually dare you?
Now.
Of everything in this list, fucking we had church, we had the gym, we had fucking watching Hulu and Netflix, and you put the Cheesecake Factory as the worst place to go on a date? You guys have done it wrong. You've done it completely wrong, and how dare you disrespect the Cheesecake Factory like that?
No.
They have everything.
No.
Everything it's catering to everybody.
Yeah. Did I get food poisoning there in high school? Yeah.
But did I have a good time? Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen,
3 hours later.
That menu, it takes an hour just to go through it.
Should you order the taquitos? No. But in my defense, it was my first time there. And I thought if it's on the menu, they can make it. No.
You would think.
There's a reason the menu's so big, and also don't order non-American cuisines. Not even that taquitos are like very authentic Mexican food, but it's like maybe not the
Cheesecake Factory.
Maybe not the dumplings, maybe not the taquitos. It's also it's all frozen.
Right,
It's like, so you would
right.
actually think that it wouldn't be that bad because
it's delicious.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. Cheesecake, you could just go for the cheesecake.
Totally.
You know, it doesn't even have to be a big investment. You could just go for the cheesecake.
I know that I will have found my soulmate when they look me in the face and they're like, number 1, do you want to go to the Cheesecake Factory? But number 2, would you like to order way too much food just so we can sample all of these random things and get like 5 cheesecakes and we can bring them home and eat them over the course of the next week?
Fun.
I would be like, So yeah.
Wait, that would be actually
You
so
guys have
cute.
fun on your gym date.
That'd be so cute for a follow-up. It's like, I have all this leftover cheesecake. Like, come
We
back,
have to sample it.
Come back. Let's sample it. Let's finish it off.
That's what I'm saying.
And I think why I'm not objecting to all of these is because some of my philosophy on like going on first dates is like, let's just use it as an opportunity to explore a new location I wouldn't go to otherwise.
Right.
And it's like Cheesecake Factory is the type of place, it does feel like you kind of need an occasion to go there.
Yeah.
Right. So if someone gives you the opportunity, you're going to take it. And so it's like,
For sure.
if that opportunity is coming in the form of a date, it's like, well, this is not landing in my lap that often.
Yeah.
So like, let's pick it up and run with it.
Right.
And you know, where's the nearest Cheesecake Factory to here? Is there
There's
one?
one in Queens.
Okay.
And I've been there and I've
Well,
had a good
turn
time.
off the camera. Let's go.
I genuinely Cheesecake Factory might be my favorite restaurant.
Yeah, my friend just went there for her birthday. So
It's a beautiful place and it makes no sense. Top to bottom, the decor, the menu,
Yep.
the vibe, it's completely unexplainable. And that's why I love it.
no, my hometown literally boycotted the Cheesecake Factory that
Stop.
opened up because they were like, it's too gaudy. It doesn't like fit with the which tells you everything you need to know about where I grew up. But it's just like, and they got it removed
Wild.
And they got it
How dare they?
after I got the food poisoning.
All right. So now that we're on the same page about the Cheesecake Factory being a superb...
Now that we read quality journalism. Anything you see, you know.
Anything on the internet is a research study worth...
This is why critical thinking is so important. Media literacy. That was a test in media literacy,
That
actually.
was a test in media
And
literacy.
I think we passed because that thing failed. Like,
Because that list was horrible.
it's awful.
And so with that, we're going to move on to some submissions. If you don't know, there is a submission box where you guys can submit anything and everything you'd like me to bring up at the sleepover, whether it's a topic request, an advice request, you want to share a secret, get a little open and vulnerable in the submission box. Listen, you can put anything you want in there.
Confess.
So with that, let's jump right in here. Hello, Maddie. I'm in my second year of college and I'm starting to have some friend problems. Last year, I had a wonderful group of friends who I felt held, loved, and celebrated by, but a lot has changed between last year and this year. People moved, switched schools, and we just don't have as much time to hang out anymore. One of the things that changed us a lot was a dramatic friend breakup, which definitely helped resurface a lot of old insecurities of mine. I spent the summer grieving the loss of that friendship and trying to build myself back up. I felt excited and ready going into this year, and at times, this year has been great. I have a few close friends who I love and cherish, but I'm missing the feeling of community care that I felt in my last friend group. I also find myself feeling like I'm a lot of people's second choice friend or a friend around the margins of a friend group. This seems to be a bit of a pattern for me. The same kind of thing happened in high school. I worry that I'm not as good of a friend as I think I am, and maybe that's why I'm having trouble. I really want to find my people and be the best I can be to them, and I think I need some sleepover advice to do that. The question is, do you feel like you found your people, or is that kind of serendipity a myth meant to prevent people from committing to actively fostering platonic intimacy? Also, how to navigate the conversations with friends that I love but feel pushed aside by. I want to lead with love and not accuse them of anything, but let them know that I need a little bit more out of the friendship.
Boom. That's heavy.
It is.
I was like listening to that and I was like, oh.
I know.
I just hate that anyone feels this way, but it's also like this
Yeah.
was truly a confessional of like, oh, I've like those thoughts have like crossed my mind too.
Totally.
You know? And also this person's in college.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's gonna be fine, sweetie.
Yeah, truly.
It's gonna be okay.
I know.
sweetie.
Especially like second year of college, you're still finding and like meeting people.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I'm straight up, I'm not friends with anybody that I was friends with my freshman and sophomore year of college anymore. I think I have one friend from that era of life.
Yeah. People, you know, when your people find you, like those relationships will stick.
Yeah.
I think I look at, you know, I look at my own life almost like a college timeline where it's like I moved to Seattle 2 years ago. Now I'm in my junior year. I just entered my junior year. And it's like, okay, now I'm starting to feel a little bit more settled in my friendships. But like freshman year is a scramble. No one feels secure in their friendships because they're super brand new. Sophomore, it's like you're just trying to settle into it. Junior, yeah, people go abroad, things change. I don't know. I'm just like, I want to give the most sage advice in the world, but
Yeah.
what was the question?
Do you feel like you found your people, or is that kind of serendipity a myth meant to prevent people from committing to actively fostering platonic intimacy?
I think the choice word in that is found your people.
Yeah.
It's like it didn't just like, it's not just like people always found me. It's
Yeah.
like sometimes I do literally, I had one friend in college, we were tour guides together, and he was like, we are friends because like literally the first day of training, the way you were answering questions and stuff, I was like, that girl I want to be friends with. And then literally this many years later, we're still friends. Like sometimes you do truly, you find someone, you're like, that person really resonates with me, and like that's who I want to befriend.
Yeah.
And so I think those people will find you, and they'll be swells and dips, and like I don't know, I feel like the one thing I took away from that was like, you sound like you are concerned with your own sort of like how much you're giving as a friend, and like how like the quality of your own friendship that you're giving. And I think that's exactly where you should come from, is like just focus on like, you know, being the best friend you can be to like the people that are in your life right now. And I found truly like my best strategy is like when you find the people that you do feel close to, and it sounds like you have a few people that you feel that way with, just focus more of your time on them. Actually, I feel like sometimes we tend to be like, okay, I got those folks, let me diversify and conquer.
Yeah.
But it's like sometimes you meet more good people by deepening your relationships with those people.
Totally. Yeah. Also, I think that like we're sort of in a constant state of finding our people. I feel like there's been like, I don't know, eras of my life where I've been like, I have like all of these great friends, but there's like a specific type of person that I'm still looking for.
Totally.
So like an example for me was like a few years ago, realizing that I didn't have a lot of plus size friends and I didn't have a lot of community around me that I could relate to in that specific area. And obviously it's something that I talk about a lot on the internet, and like I was in a place where I was like, I really want to have more plus size friends. I would love to be able to have people in my life that I can talk to about these sorts of things. And like, it's just different when you can look at somebody and just, you know, that you've had the same experience. My other friends are great listeners, and they've always been like so like great at listening to me when I'm talking about like my experiences as a plus size person, but it just hits different talking to somebody who truly gets it. And so there was a period of time where I was like on a mission to make more plus size friends, because I was like, this is a gap in my life that I would like filled. And so in that way I was searching for my people still, and I had people, but I was still searching for and I feel like things like that continue to pop up throughout my life, where there's like when I started doing content creation full time and I had a really weird work schedule, then it was like, well, I would love to make friends with people who also have a weird work schedule, so that it's like I can well, first it's just nice to have like connections with other self-employed people, so that you can, because there's so much about like managing yourself and your time that is kind of difficult. So I love talking to other people about that. Also like being able to find people that, you know, maybe since I'm not working Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, maybe I want to, you know, take a random Tuesday and go do something. And who can I take with me to go do this thing? And so that was a new thing. And so I feel like there's always these new eras where I'm like, there's new people that I'm searching for, new like connections that I'm looking for to just like, I don't know, just bring more color to my life in whatever way seems fit at that time. Also, I feel like the like loss of friendship and like going in and out of season with other people, that's like a natural part of life. That doesn't make you a bad friend.
Right.
There are like plenty of people that I have been friends with at one point in life that I am no longer friends with now. Does that make me a bad friend because I haven't retained every friendship that I've ever had in my entire life? Of course not. Like, I think that we go in and out of season with people, and there are some people that are, you know, meant to be in your life for X amount of time, some people longer, some people shorter. That doesn't mean that you are a bad friend because not everybody was a forever friend.
Totally. I'm really glad you said that, because sometimes it can feel personal.
Yeah.
That it's like, oh, I lost that because of me and my own failure. But it's like, no, sometimes you both mutually let go. And I had sort of like a little paranoid episode where like I lost a friend from college. We were really good friends, and I felt like I really just like left her in the dust and was like a really bad friend to her, and I harbored a lot of guilt. And we reconnected like 2 years ago, and she literally did not have any of that to say. She was like, no, we did nothing wrong. Like we just kind of like fell out of the loop, and now we're good. And it's like it don't take it personally. And I also always hold that I'm like, if someone has an issue with you, they should say it to you.
Totally.
You shouldn't just be inventing it in your mind, because I get into that state all the time. And with the voids thing, I'm the same thing, where I'm like, oh, like I really want to have a friend who I can do a certain activity I like to do with, or like shares a certain part of my identity. Because it's like sometimes we go to the internet for those really niche, like for certain things. You're like, I don't really know that many people that share this, so you find some people on the internet that have that camaraderie with you. But it's like, if people on the internet are talking about it, there should be people in your life that also share that piece. But I also do oscillate between wanting to like practice like gratitude and like contentment with like what I have is enough, and also still be like, yeah, but like I can meet more people, and there are pieces of me that I would like to find mirrored in my peers, and have those conversations where you can volley back and forth more, where it's not just one person receiving it.
Yeah, I definitely feel for you. It is I think loss of friendship and like getting back into I don't know, just like rebuilding yourself after like a upsetting friendship breakup can be challenging. But I think that at this phase of life, like midway through college, a lot of people are in that phase at that point.
Yes. And you're in the cut.
Yeah.
Like there are so many people coming around the corner you don't even know. Like there's so many people bumping together in college that like you don't even know who you're going to meet in the next few months. Like just be open. And I like that you did comment on like, I have several close friends that give me a lot of support. Like stay in that sort of mode where it's like, I have friends, I'm a good friend. Like, you know, give yourself that affirmation, then also just open yourself up to like, you just never know. And, you know, just, it's like, put yourself out there. It's like, oh God.
Hello, Maddie. Love you and the podcast. I was hoping to get some advice on something that I'm struggling to understand. I recently have started using dating apps to connect with people and go on dates. It feels really fun to get to know people until they don't really reply to me anymore. It's becoming sort of a pattern that is starting to feel hurtful. Most recently, I connected with someone who seemed super interested, but they're out of town until the end of the year, so we haven't met yet. I was becoming excited about the idea of getting to date this person since the conversation was going really well, and then, unexpectedly, I haven't heard from them anymore. And I wonder if that's maybe a red flag for bad communication. I understand that we are technically strangers, but should I accept being essentially left unread for a while until the possibility of meeting up in real life is possible? I don't understand how some people can just ignore messages from someone they're interested in, so maybe they're not interested in me. I think it also doesn't help that they have disappearing messages on, so now it looks like we never spoke at all. Should I just move on and ignore them if they ever do message me again?
Didn't know about disappearing messages. That would devastate me. I'm like, because sometimes it's like when someone really has exited your life, the only thing you have left of them is like, well, no, we did know each other.
Right.
We did talk because I see these text messages here.
I promise we had a connection.
You're like, wait, I'm reading these back. We did have something there. No, that is very unsettling. The disappearing messages part. I feel like everyone takes dating apps at a different degree of seriousness in terms of how they use it. And it's really hard to know, like, even as someone where it's like, I'm also on it, like looking for a long-term relationship, like, would I be open to a fling? Yes, but I can't say that because then they're just going to take advantage of me.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, I'm not looking for the type of fling you're looking for, honey.
Right.
I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
I'm like, have you seen Weekend by Andrew Haig? Like, have you seen any of these brief encounter films, Past Lives? I'm looking for that type of mysterious romance where you actually don't touch. Like, that's what I want. Anyway, so it's like I'm looking for like long-term relationships on there, but still, like, when I'm messaging somebody, it's like I'm never taking it for certain that like that's gonna go anywhere. Yeah. It kind of just feels like almost like applying to a job. It's like totally just, poof, off it goes. You have literally no idea if you're ever gonna get a message back. And so I just don't. And also I'm the kind of person where it's like sometimes I do just fall off. I do just fall off. I don't get notifications on my lock screen. So if someone's messaging me on Hinge, I will never be prompted to go in the app unless I decide to go in the app.
Yeah.
So I'm just opening you up to the world of possibilities
Yeah.
of which you might not be aware of. And I'm like a master interpreter. So sometimes I will read into like, why isn't this person messaging me back? And the truth is like, what evidence do you have? You really don't have much when you've only been talking over an app.
Right. I feel like in my, how I function on dating apps is like, until the second date, I'm not gonna be like attached to any part of this person or wanting to, like, I feel like on the apps, I don't know them, they don't know me, we are complete strangers.
Yes.
After a first date, if they didn't message me, I wouldn't take it personally, because I don't know. To me, after a first date, not speaking doesn't count as ghosting because we're still strangers.
Right.
Once we hit date 2, now we've like committed to seeing each other twice. If you ghost me at this point, it is actually ghosting, and this is hurtful and mean.
Yeah.
I think before that point, I don't think that we know each other well enough for me to take this personally in any way. Because also the other thing is that like, I know that I am not, as much as I'm being like, I don't know them and I don't know enough about them to form an opinion about how I feel about them or if we'd be a good match or anything, they also don't know that about me either. So they could be, for all I know, the day that we matched on Hinge, they could have been on date 4 with somebody else that they do know and have been building a connection with. So then they stopped responding to me on Hinge because they found a connection. Maybe they connected with their ex. Maybe they're not as emotionally available as they say they are. I know that like, I'm definitely someone that when I'm seeing someone, I'm focused on one person. I can't really date multiple people at a time. So it's really just like a race to who gets me on that date first. And if it goes well and we keep seeing each other, then I will drop off with the people that I'm just texting with on Hinge.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say something because we don't know each other. We're just talking on Hinge. We've never met before. So I think there's a range of reasons why someone might not respond, all of which are not personal because you guys do not know each other. Yeah. And I think I get it because it's very easy to get like dreamy about someone that you match with and be like, oh, this could be so good. We could be a match. But you ultimately do not know that and do not know this person. So I would try your absolute hardest not to like project too much like hope of a specific outcome onto someone that you don't know and also might not be a great fit for you anyways.
+1, I concur. That was so comprehensive. Thumbs up. Upvote. Like, that was really good. I don't have much else to add other than this is why I don't want to be pen pals.
Yeah.
Because there was one guy, we were like, we couldn't meet up for like a week. End of the year? You can't meet this person? Holy hell. Anything could happen in those months. So it's really hard to pin that on them. But even just someone I can't meet for a week, this one guy got my phone number, took it off the app, and was texting me essays. And we were like going back and forth. And I was like, this is so bizarre. I usually don't have this type of like interaction. And the whole time in the back of my head, I'm like, what if we meet and it's like a dud? And it's just like all of this was for nothing. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah. And I was like, I regret that time spent being pen pals because it is a stunted form of communication rather than just the first date being that first glance at like actually are we compatible. It's like you do have to sort of, the app wants you to be a dreamer and wants you to pin all your hopes and dreams and be checking and spend more screen time on there. So it's almost like an act of resistance to be like, I'm not gonna make this person out to be something they may not be. It's just like when I'm messaging on the dating app, my only goal is just like, let's either get on a date or no. Yeah. Like I'm just trying to get to a yes or a no. I'm not trying to like actually get to know the person because personally I just like to conversate this way or over FaceTime, if not in person. Like I'm not trying to be pen pals. Right. Yeah. Yeah. No
necessary need for pen pals at this given time. This is a big one. Is it normal for my boyfriend to save bikini pictures of our female friends on his phone? Hello, Maddie. Big fan of the podcast and listen to every episode literally all the time. While I never thought I'd actually be writing in for your advice, this topic has been weighing very heavily on me and I really feel stuck on what to do next. For a bit of context, I love my boyfriend so very much and feel I have found my person. We moved into our first apartment together. We have a cat just thriving in love. I guess to start somewhere, I had in the past, while innocently looking for a meme he had in his phone, accidentally came across a screenshot of a mutual friend posing at the beach in a swimsuit. Happy, laughing, living her best Instagram baddie life, and we love that for her. But my heart instantly went cold and dropped to my belly. Something did not feel right. He was sat right next to me, but I didn't say anything, and I never addressed it. Kinda acted like I'd never found it at all. A few months pass, and now the same scenario happens again. He leaves the room, but he left his phone open, and I wanted to send myself a picture of us he had taken. This time, it's a friend that we have a little bit more of a history involved. The short version is that she's into him. And when I joke but really ask if he's at all interested or if there's anything I need to worry about, he always turns me down and says that you're being so ridiculous. But then I find this screenshotted picture from Instagram of her in a bikini. He specifically had it zoomed into her ass. I feel so hurt and so betrayed in a way. Am I enough? Did he know this would hurt me? Is what I'm feeling even allowed? Am I being crazy? I don't know. I'm just feeling so many emotions, so much anxiety. And again, I've been quiet and have not brought it all up out of fear of how or what will happen next. But this time it definitely hurts more. I'm scared because we have built our lives together and he's brought me so much love and growth about myself and change to my life. This all just hurts so much. I need your help and wisdom on how I should approach this. I want to start by like affirming that you're not crazy at all. And, yes, what you're feeling is allowed. Yeah. You're allowed to feel uncomfortable by this. I think most of us would. If I stumbled across this personally, if somebody that I was dating was screenshotting zoomed in photos of people that I know half naked, this would be like very bad to me. This would be like very close to cheating. This is like, because if I found this to me would be like a sign. I'm like, why did you screenshot that? What do you need that for? What are you doing with that?
I actually feel like part of the issue for me, it's like, so you're objectifying my friends?
Yes, that as well.
I'm like, it's one thing to find texts with them where they're like, hey, did you see the episode of the last night?
Right.
They're like, it's one thing to like develop friendships with my friends. I'm like, that's good. I want my significant other to be in community with my people.
Totally.
But it's like, okay, so you really are interested in my friends' bodies.
Right.
Like
screenshotting photos so that they're on your phone for your keeping.
Yeah.
That's for sure crossing a boundary, I would say. 100%. And I understand having a lot of anxiety about bringing it up because I think it's hard to bring this up without knowing that if this conversation reveals what you are hoping at this point isn't true, this is, potentially the cause for the end of a relationship.
Right.
So I get being anxious about having this conversation because at this, like, seeing what you've seen, seeing that these photos are on his phone, it's hard to not be like, well, I hope there's an explanation for this because right now it's not looking great.
Right. Yeah. I think I could also tell that you had started, or this person had started the response coloring, like, this is someone I'm really committed to and like really is my person. And then the hammer of the but.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's sort of evaluating, like, is this a deal breaker? Like, is this something that is going to be the end of it all? And I think something that I try to do is it's like, you do not know why someone's doing the things they're doing unless you ask them and they tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And so it's like, that is a really scary conversation to have. It's like, what, like, I guess it's, to me, it's like almost discovering more of his like sexuality, actually. It's like sort of like, why do you have these on your phone? Like, what does this serve for you? And understanding like if that fits into monogamy for you or not. Do you want to be monogamous? I'm like, understanding like his desires and what he wants, and if that fits with you. That's why I'm like, advice is hard, because I'm like, every relationship is different. Right. I'm like, this is why you're really good at what you do, because I'm like, every one of these, I'm like, well, next.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like it is. Yeah, it's hard because it's like everybody has different sets of rules and boundaries in each relationship for what's acceptable and what's not. But the fact that you're writing in about this tells me that this is not something that you're okay with. And if I were you, I'd be quite bothered about this myself. I think I would encourage you to, like, number one, definitely bring this up.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think you can approach it at first from a sense of, like, just being, or no, I don't even want to say that because it's not really what I feel.
What were you gonna say?
I was going to say, like, the thing is, sometimes I, like, have an urge to be nice. And I'm like, actually, no, because if this was me, I'd be enraged.
Yeah.
I don't actually want to give
also, I know
someone the benefit of the doubt in this situation.
The second you bring it up that if this is a piece of shit ass guy, he's gonna be like, well, why you're like,
right, exactly.
I know
and it's hard. It's like, okay, let's say this, because the thing is, it's in my head. I'm like, so what would be the reason that somebody would have this on the phone? I'm like, okay,
I'm trying to be
can't
really
think of
charitable
one
right now.
I cannot think of even one reason why someone would have this on their phone where it wouldn't be like a suspect move. Exactly. this is exact. So I'm like, what am I saying exactly?
Can we just say that? That's why I'm like, it's about his sexuality. It is. Like,
it's hard because it's like it is sometimes difficult because I don't want to be like, your boyfriend might suck and you might need to break up with him.
A lot of boyfriends suck.
But like, if he is screenshotting photos of your friends zoomed in on their half naked bodies and keeping it stored in his phone, that is really fucking bizarre and a very clear, like, violation of your relationship.
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of similar to, like, when people go through, like, who Army Hammer is following, or like John Mulaney, and then they find like thirst trap accounts,
right? And
they're like, this person's like married, da da da. I'm no one to police someone's sexuality or their relationship. It's like, I'm not like, everyone should be monogamous type of person. Like, I think you should just find whatever works for you and your groove. And it's also like, my sexuality is probably different than, you know, your sexuality. It's like very different for everyone, but it's like, you need to figure out where your comfortability lies. And I think the hard part for me is, it's like, okay, I don't even know for myself what I would deem would be, you know how some people are like, porn is bad, delete porn. Yeah. Like, no porn, no nothing. My boyfriend should only masturbate to me. Yeah. I'm like,
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't want someone to limit what my self-pleasure looks like, right? But it's different when it's like, that's somebody you know.
Yeah.
Like,
obviously, like, when we're in relationships with people, we don't stop feeling attraction, but it's like when you act on that attraction.
Yes.
And this I would count as acting on that attraction. They might not be directly acting on it with the person, but by like screenshotting and zooming in on a photo that has a very clear intention of why they zoomed in on that photo, I don't think that's okay.
Can you imagine if your friend's boyfriend had a screenshot photo of you?
Right. I would be so uncomfortable.
And you didn't know.
Yeah.
And you were getting together and going to different things, and the whole time
I'd be like, excuse me?
That would just be so bizarre.
Yeah.
As a woman on the internet, you're like aware that people are screenshotting you.
Totally.
Or, you know, watching videos on mute, etc.
Also, like, if you like the picture, just fucking go back on my page and look at it.
Yeah, save it,
you
so you
weirdo.
help with the engagement.
Right.
Bookmark it.
Why are you screenshotting
it? Repost it on your story.
Yeah. Yeah. It just it is hard because I never want to like crush anyone's spirit with my reaction, but this doesn't sound great to me. And I think I would, one, have a conversation, and two, prepare yourself for the possibility that the outcome of this conversation might not be what you want it to be. Mm-hmm. But that you need to set a boundary here and stand up for yourself. Yeah. And maybe there is an explanation that I cannot think of at this current moment for why this is happening. But maybe there is.
If we're being real charitable with it, maybe there is.
Really generous.
Yeah.
I like feel the way that you're feeling right now because I have also been in situations. I haven't been like, you know, in long-term relationships with someone where this has happened, but I've absolutely been seeing someone and things have been going so well. And then something has happened and I've sat there and been like, this changes everything.
Yeah.
And I wish it didn't change everything because I really have liked you. And I've been like, God, why did this have to happen? Because now I have to end this. And I wish I didn't because why the fuck did you do this? It was so good until you did this. And now it's like, this is a moment that has like changed the way I feel in a really severe way. I'm not saying that this is the case for you. I'm just putting myself in your shoes of how I would feel if this happened. And I mean, you're submitting this, so clearly you're bothered by it too. But how you react from here is ultimately up to you. You don't need to feel the way that I feel or, you know more, you have more context than I will ever have based on this tiny little submission here. I would just encourage you to, when you feel that uncomfortable feeling, that anxiety, that's like, I saw this thing that I didn't want to see and this made me feel bad and it changed everything, but I love this person and I don't want it to change. I would try not to run away from that uncomfortable feeling by being like, I just want this to stay good and I want to like, I love this person and I saw a future with them and I just want to forget about all of this. I would encourage you to let yourself sit in the discomfort of how you're feeling. Let yourself feel the anxiety, everything that you're going to feel in response to this, and make a decision after your conversation, after you've worked through all this, that really, values how you're feeling above this like potential dreamed of future that you thought was happening or maybe is happening. You know, I can't tell you what to do, but I will just tell you that whatever choice that you do make at the outcome of this, I hope it is one where you are valuing how you feel and how you feel that you deserve to be treated and respected in a relationship over this like potential future that maybe you've discovered is not what you want with this person anymore.
Big time. I think that's like the perfect synthesis of it, is like half of this scenario is just accepting that this did happen. Yeah. And that you can't just like forget about it. And then the other half is actually having the conversation.
Totally.
Because in like a past relationship I had, like there were things that were bothering me and I just like wouldn't tell anybody about them because I knew that they were bad. Yeah. And it's like then when the relationship ended and I told everybody about it, they were like, I cannot believe you weren't telling me that. And it's because I knew that it was bad. But that's why I'm like, I feel like you submitting this is sort of your first step at accepting that like this did happen and you obviously want to, make a change and like bring it up and not just have everything stay stagnant. Totally. Yeah.
And yeah, I just hope that you're able to get to a conclusion with this that makes you feel good. Whatever it is, whatever it looks like, I just hope that at the end of it all you feel comfortable and happy with whatever choice that you have made.
Yeah. Power to you.
Yeah. Godspeed.
Godspeed.
All right. And with that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me on the big green couch.
Of course. This was so much fun. Where can the people find you?
I'm on everything at katherout. So except for Tumblr, it's a 0 instead of a O. So if you're still on that decrepit site, find me there.
Love that.
Yeah. Stay tuned for my friendship video in New York. It should be eclectic.
Yeah. I'm so excited to see this.
Yeah.
So with that, thanks for coming to the sleepover. Hope you had a great time and I will see you guys next week.